Coming up next on your News 3 report. A Nashville man is facing some jail time after attempting to enter the Capitol building with a weapon. We'll have the latest on this bizarre event that had the nation's capital on edge.
And on the other side of the world, an Egypt flight was grounded after a passenger hijacked the plane. We'll tell you the suspect's motive coming up.
This is the law. This is a fact. This is white supremacy.
And the controversial fight to rename Forest Hall continues as last week's public forum ended with a student-led march to President McPhee's house. News 3 reporter Brian Dillak will join us live where the last public Forest Hall task force meeting was held.
All those stories and more coming up next on your News 3 report. Your news starts now.
Live from Studio 2 in the College of Mass Communications from the campus of Middle Tennessee State University, this is the News 3 report.
Once again, I'm Tony Sloan with your News 3 reports.
And I'm Cormitra Wilborn, topping your news this afternoon. We'll have the latest on the Capitol shooter, but first, there's been a development in the ongoing Vanderbilt rape trial. The trial for former Vanderbilt football player Brandon Vandenberg has been delayed due to health concerns. Vandenberg's former teammate Corey Beatty's trial will continue as scheduled.
An Antioch man is in police custody after wielding a gun inside the Capitol Visitor Center. 66-year-old Larry Russell Dawson was stopped by security after attempting to enter the Capitol Visitor Center's entrance. Officials say that Dawson then pulled out what appeared to be a weapon when a Capitol police officer shot him. Dawson faces several charges, including assault with a deadly weapon and assault on a police officer while armed. Once released from the hospital, Dawson will be presented to the District of Columbia Superior Court. Only one bystander was injured during the confrontation. Police say her injuries are minor.
The man authorities say hijacked an Airjet in Egypt is now in custody. Seif Eldin Mustafa boarded a flight headed to Cairo today when he told the crew he had an explosive belt. The Egyptian man forced the plane to land at Larnaca International Airport in Cyprus. Most of the passengers were evacuated, but several crew members and passengers were still on the plane when authorities tried to talk Mustafa down. More than 4 hours later, police arrested the hijacker and the hostages were freed. Officials say the reason behind the hijacking has something to do with the hijacker's ex-wife. And among those killed in last week's tragic suicide bombings in Brussels were 2 Tennessee natives. Justin and Stephanie Schultz were pronounced dead on Saturday after family members were unable to contact them after several days. Justin Schultz and his wife were dropping off Stephanie's mother at the airport when the attacks occurred. Justin, originally from Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and his wife, a Lexington, Kentucky native, graduated together from Vanderbilt University's Owens Graduate School of Management. The couple moved to Brussels after leaving Nashville for work. Coming up later, we'll tell you about the manhunt for those involved in the terror attacks.
And police are still investigating a shooting that happened at a local nightclub this weekend. Reports say a female was being bothered at Club Tempt in Murfreesboro by another male. She went to tell a security guard who approached the man. The guard was then hit in the head with a beer bottle. The suspect fled the scene, and later that night, shots were fired outside the bar. Police found several shell casings, but no one was hurt. The suspect has not been caught. An attempted burglary in Smyrna turned into a police chase and ended in a fatal car crash around 2 a.m. on Monday. News 3 reporter Hannah Husky joins us now at the Smyrna Pawn and Gun Shop where it all started. Hannah?
I'm standing outside of the pawn shop in Smyrna where the entire fatal police chase unraveled. Police was driving by when he heard a crash, then turned around to see that 6 teens in a truck had rammed into the front of the building. The only thing stopping them from getting in were these concrete stairs. Now helicopters fly over our heads as the police search for the remaining 3 teens. Officers attempted to stop the fleeing suspects, and very shortly after, the chase ended. The deceased victim has been identified as 19-year-old Kayvonte Jernigan. Police say he was riding in the bed of the truck when the accident happened. Now there are still 3 remaining suspects at large, and they are said to be armed and dangerous. Reporting live, I'm Hannah Husky.
Thanks, Hannah. Police say they are unable to release specific descriptions of the suspect at this time, but anyone with any additional information is asked to contact Crime Stoppers.
The last public meeting on the name change of Forest Hall happened this past Thursday. Reporter Brian Dillak joins us live from Forest Hall to tell us more about the impact this meeting can have on the final decision.
Thanks. The meeting that has the ability to change the name of Forest Hall has a new twist. Although the public is now allowed to attend, only organizations that have been pre-selected are allowed to speak. The main point of discussion was whether or not Nathan Bedford Forrest, a Confederate general and a Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan, was a negative enough of a public figure to erase from the campus of MTSU. Now with the final meeting done, the task force committee will take all the information from the statements, arguments, and public opinion and give a recommendation to President McPhee.
Now, President McPhee's recommendation to the City Council to change the name will be decided later on this month after the task force committee has come to a decision. And following last Thursday's public forum, members of the Forest Hall protest group, the Talented 10, met with President McPhee. The students met with McPhee one last time yesterday to express their demands and concerns regarding the name change of Forest Hall, named after Confederate General Nathan Bedford Forrest. Students also discussed with McPhee concerns over death threats and racial slurs being thrown at the group and steps on how to address those issues. Both sides hoped this meeting would bring a peace of mind and closure, but the result was very different.
Was I frustrated? Absolutely, because there are things that students are struggling with. For an example, the issue of what happened off the campus that I have no control over.
That McPhee will make a final decision on whether to keep the name the same or change it by the end of April.
A quiet Easter Sunday turned to a deadly Lahore, Pakistan after suicide bombers targeted Christians. Coming up.
And a memorial for the victims of last week's bombings in Brussels ended in violence. Find out why Muslim residents are afraid of facing backlash from locals.
And a local church may be shutting its doors for good. We'll tell you what planned officials have for property after the break. And if you're a fan of the hit show Scandal, stick around. We'll tell you what the real Olivia Pope had to say during her visit here on campus.
Storms are gone and it's turned into a beautiful afternoon in our area, but how much longer is it going to last? I'll have your forecast for tonight and your 7-day coming up in just a little bit.